Hey everybody, it's Monday, it's September 24th. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, as you can see, I'm still in my glasses. My eyes still bothering me a little bit. Um, I, I- Today I wanted to do a video based on sexting and social media. I was in the XJW Reddit group and someone had brought up the subject of sexting. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Um, so we're going to be talking about sexting as well as social media in general, right? The way I'm going to start this is I want to remind you, I make these videos only so that, when you turn 18, 19 years old, you can exit the cult. And I want you to exit the cult safely. Not just exit, I want you to exit safely. Um, we, Especially for those who are raised in the cult from a young age, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness from age 6, right? And I spent all my teenage years as a Jehovah's Witness. I didn't leave until age 28. So we tend to grow up in a sheltered, living a sheltered life. Some of us are homeschooled, you know, so it's a very sheltered and closed off life. I wasn't allowed to associate with worldly people, worldly relatives. So, again, when we enter the real world, it can be challenging. Um, we, if we're unprepared for the real world, which many of us aren't, it, it can really be overwhelming. So that's why I'm making these videos. I've now been out of the cult for about 23 years. So, and the other thing is when I left, I didn't plan my exit. I just left abruptly. So a lot of these lessons that I'm trying to share with you and information I'm trying to share with you, these lessons I learned the hard way. So that's why I make these videos. I don't want you to think I'm trying to micromanage your life. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to tell you every single thing you need to do. I'm just trying to give you information to think about so that you can make wise decisions. And the reason, like I said, once you get into the real world, you're going to see it can get dicey. It's a big adjustment. And so that's what I'm trying to prepare you for. Okay. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to mention is that this topic of sexting, you know, people assume that I'm talking only to women. I'm not. I'm talking to both men and women. Right? So I'm talking to both males and females. The same dangers and problems that apply when a female sends sexy photos of herself, the same problems exist if it's a male. All right, so let's get into this. So sexting, it's when you take all of these sexy photos of yourself, semi-nude photos of yourself or whatever, and you store it on your cell phone, and then you send it to your boyfriend or girlfriend or whomever. All right, and so what are the dangers of sexting? Well, let's start out this way. The first danger is that by storing those kind of photos on your cell phone or your laptop or whatever, if anyone should hack your device, those photos can be stolen. Okay, so that's the first problem with sexting. Those photos can be stolen and used anywhere. Okay, the next problem with sexting is let's pretend that I take some sexy photographs and I send them to my boyfriend who I've been dating for about 6 months. I think he's the cat's meow. I think he's handsome, charming, I can trust him and all this wonderful stuff. Right? So I send him the photos and I'm thinking he's raised the same way I was, right? To be honest, to be trustworthy. And so I send him all these photos, but he wasn't raised that way. That's the side of himself that he presents to me. But in reality, he may have a different side. He may have a side that's, not as trustworthy and as nice as he presents, when he's in front of me. So he takes those photos and he shares them with his coworkers. He may share them with his friends. He may share them with his friends. He may share them, he goes down to the bar, he shares them with his drinking buddies. If he's part of a sports team like volleyball team or a softball league. He shares them with his teammates. So he's sharing these photos with all these people, and then once those people have that photograph, what they do with it is, again, it's out of his control as well as my own. So now those people can put it on all over social media. They can put it on Facebook, Twitter, um, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat. They can upload it to porn sites. Not only can they upload the photograph, they can upload, they can include your information, your name. If you're on Facebook, they can put your name and Facebook account. Same thing with Twitter, right? And now keep in mind, every time it gets reshared, it just more and more people are retweeting this and sharing it, and that photo is getting spread around to millions and millions of people. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. And like I said, once that photograph is out of your control, there's nothing you can do. So let's suppose 6 months later, I break up with this guy, right? I figure out this guy's not the one for me. I break up with him, but he already has all these photos, and again, I have no control over what he does with them. So now he goes to a bar in the rough side of town, right? He goes into the bathroom, writes on the wall my name, my phone number, email address. He could put let's suppose he puts my Facebook account information, right? And then he can write down the web address where that photo was uploaded to. Let's suppose it's on a porn site. He can write down that address, and he writes the message on the wall for a good time. Call Pat Womack. So now my name, address, all these sexy photos, and all this stuff, all this stuff is out there now. And whoever gets and sees that on the bathroom wall, it could be any kind of weirdo, any kind of creep, and now they have all this information about me and the photo to go with it, right? So that's why I highly discourage any kind of sexting, because that photograph, it could end up on any site. Let's pretend that you are a male, and the same thing, you send these sexy photographs of your penis or whatever to a girl, and then she finds out you've been cheating on her, right? So she takes that photo, and again, she could go to a homosexual site and upload that photograph of you with your name, same thing, your cell phone number, your Facebook account information, same thing. And now you're getting all of these messages from the gay community. And then you're saying, well, I'm straight. I don't want all of these. It's because you release a photograph of your penis to somebody, and she used that photograph to get revenge on you because you cheated. So again, you need to be very careful with who you give. So, so you have to be very, very careful with who you give photos to. That's why I don't recommend it at all. That is exactly why I don't recommend it at all. But let's go even further. It can impact your ability to get employment, and I'm going to explain how. Let's pretend that I take some photos and I put it on my social media account on Facebook. Um, and so I'm looking for a job. I apply for a job at Google. The hiring manager at Google, and this applies to 70% of employers. They will do a media search of they will do an online search and search your social media activity. So let's suppose all of these photos of you are out there. That hiring manager is thinking to themselves, do I want to take the risk of hiring this person with all of these photos, all of these, sexual photos of them out there? And if this person comes and works for me, and the other employees at the company discover those photos and start sexually harassing her, then I'm going to have a lawsuit. That, that potential employee could sue the company for sexual harassment, and now because of those photos, the company is now in the middle of a lawsuit. So again, that's the, when they see those kind of photos, they're like, listen, I don't need these kind of problems that come with this. So if you have those photos up on anywhere in your timeline or whatever, please take them down. Take them down, keep them private. Okay. Again, 70% of employers rather, are searching your social media to see what kind of stuff you are posting. If you're posting stuff that is racist or whatever, please, it's the same problem. It's the same problem. They're not going to want you to bring that to their workplace. Okay. And so let's talk about social media for a little bit. I guess most of you have seen videos where white people, this is primarily in America, but white people have been caught on video acting rude and in a racist manner towards minorities, to Mexicans, to blacks. It's been caught numerous times on videotape. And so again, that makes its way onto social media. I've had people who send me video footage of that kind of behavior. I've shared video footage of that type of behavior on social media. And I'm going to explain to you what's happening is we're trying to identify the person in the video footage, and then we're trying to get them fired. We're trying to find out where they work and then get them fired. Okay? And basically all we do is we go to their employers. So basically we go to their employers, we show them the video footage and say, listen, is this the kind of person you want associated with this company? And then the employer says, well, you know what? I don't need this negative press. This person's behavior is not going to be permanently, associated with this company if he continues to work here, which may adversely affect business. So they just fire you. They just fire the person. They get rid of them. And so that's why that kind of behavior is very important not to engage in, because if you do, and your employer, is notified about it, you could be fired. And so you need to be very careful. You need to be extremely careful. And I'm going to put down below in the information section, I'm going to put all of this information, the information about the dangers of sexting, information about the racist behavior, people who've engaged in it who have been fired. I'm going to also put the information about how employers are checking. 70% of employers are checking social media to see what, before hiring a person, they want to see what their social media footprint is like. The other thing I want you to think about when it comes to sexting is Kim Kardashian, right? So whenever I think about sexting, she's the first person that comes into my mind. She seems to snap a lot of selfies where she's half dressed, half not dressed. She uploads it to Instagram or Twitter or wherever, and she's putting all of these selfies out there. The reason why I bring that up is because you want to be careful with that kind of behavior, because I want you to think about this. What else is Kim Kardashian known for? She's known for the sex videotape that she made. She's known for the selfies. But in other words, when we think of Kim Kardashian, we don't think of any kind of humanitarian work. We don't think of any kind of charitable contributions. We don't think of anything other than the selfies. And so now, even if she is engaged in doing other good works and other good things, that she's not known for any of that. She's not known for it. And so that's where the problem lies. You want to be known for doing good towards society. That is what's going to give you a purposeful and meaningful life. Taking a bunch of selfies and wearing it, it's not going to make, it's not, I promise you, it will not make you happy. It won't. I mean, it never could. And so it's good to take pride in your appearance, and I don't want you to feel that I'm in some way telling you not to. I'm saying that in addition to taking pride in your appearance, you have to be doing other good things, and that will make you a happy person. All right. So, you know, I want to make something else clear, about social media and the internet and the XJW community. So I'm always telling you guys to research cults. And one of the reasons why is because you need to know how cults operate. Jehovah's Witnesses is not like a typical normal religion where you just, okay, I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. I think I'll just leave. That's not how it works. Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. So when you leave, you know, it's not like one of those things where you go your way, I'll go mine, blah, blah, blah. No. Cults resort to harassment at times. And online is no different. So when you're on the XJW community in on Facebook or on Reddit, the cult has intentionally placed people in that group to monitor those groups. So every XJW group on Facebook, every XJW group on Reddit is being monitored by the cult. All right. They intentionally plant people in those groups. Those people sometimes give bad advice intentionally to people, hoping to get them into problem situations. Those people will start arguments amongst the group members. And again, it's just to cause disruption and all of this amongst the group members. So when you are in those groups and you see a conversation starting to head into a wrong direction, or if someone gives you advice that doesn't seem like it's safe or sound or reasonable, you you need to question it. You need to question it. Um, what I've done with my Facebook account is I block people. I block people. Anybody that I know is giving advice or is trying to start an argument or whatever, I just block them, and that's why. Because 9 times out of 10, the cult has planted them there for that very purpose. Okay. It's true we will all have differences of opinion. We all have different ways of doing things, and that's to be expected. But civility, that is not negotiable. That's not negotiable. Being civil is just, hands down a requirement. And so when people try to start arguments and all this other stuff, I just block them. And so that's what I also recommend. If you're in the XJW community and you notice people are giving you bad advice or trying to, steer you down the wrong path, just block them. Again, you got to keep in mind the cult wants to keep as many members in as possible. So if they get you to go down a wrong path or into trouble, and then you say, "Oh my God, the world is so rough. I can't take it. I have to go back," the cult wins. So that's why when people say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with sexting," you need to be careful. You're being given bad advice, and you need to, get into the habit of you independently research these things before you do anything. And, I will say this, I'm going to, ask that, for the teens and the young adults, I'm going to do with you guys what my dad did with my oldest brother. Um, my oldest brother was in his late teens, early 20s when my dad died, right? And whenever my oldest brother Jim, would approach my dad with a question, my dad would answer him. My dad would answer him. Whatever question he asked about, he answered him. But he always told him, you know what, that is the best answer I have for you. But you go out there, you research the issue, and see if you can come up with a better answer. And then if you do, you come back. You come back and you share it with me. And so that's what I'm gonna give you, that same advice. The videos, the information I share with you on these videos, it's the best knowledge I have. And I'm sharing it with you. But if you find some better way, if you find a better way of doing things, or if you find some information that that contradicts or in some way improves upon the advice that I've given, you're absolutely free to share it with me. I would, and I welcome that. I welcome questions. I welcome questions and differing points of view. But again, the bottom line result has to be that, again, because I'm dealing, my audience is primarily teens and young adults. I'm going to try to be sure that any advice or anything that I say is safe. Is going to make it so that you can leave the cult safely. Okay. And so I cannot stress enough to you, please research cults, research how they work, research how, some of the underhanded things that they've done, some of the cool kinds of things that they've done to keep members. I don't know if you watched that show Aftermath, uh, the Leah Remini show. It's on the A&E network. But a lot of the things that Mike Render has described in there, how, he was in charge of, harassment when he was a Scientologist. A lot of that holds true for many cults. They all use the same playbook. So, again, that's why I constantly um, reiterate the message to please research cults. All right, so that's the video for today. I hope this video helps. And again, please leave your comments below. One last thing I want to mention is that we still have that group, for anyone who's planning their exit from the cult. It's for teens and young adults, and I'll put that information in the description area below. All right, so that's the video for today. Have a great week. Take care. Be safe. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.